Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook Live every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Z, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. So, on my screen, my video is quite blurry. I'm hoping it's not blurry for all of you. Tell me how it looks. I'd love to know. I want to make sure I can adjust anything so we can enjoy this Star Wars conversation the way we always do, again, every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Looks like we got a lot of our good friends here tonight. Minta can't make it tonight, but she'll be back next time. Minta, we will certainly save you a spot. LJ is here. Hello, LJ. Good to have you, my friend. Of course, Mason is here. Hello, buddy. What is up? Christina's here. First time joining it. It's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday where I am, so taking the opportunity of a weekday off to join. Well, great. And welcome to the show, Christina. She's a recent member of the CWK Cafe, so it's great to have you here on the live show with us. Hello, Mary. Happy Monday to you. Amber says, good to be back. I was on a trip to Sweden for 3 weeks, but I've been watching the reruns on Facebook. Well, Amber, that's awesome. Sweden, wow. I bet that was an amazing trip. Super happy that you're able to join us still. What a great honor, and we're happy to have you here. Hello, Daniel. Welcome, my friend. Welcome back to the show, of course. Blake is here. Hello, Blake. And Scott says, hi, all. Glad to visit for the first time. Scott, we're so glad to have you. It's great to see you first-timers here. It's blurry here as well. Weird. Let me see what I can do. Jason is here. Hello, Jason. Apologies for the blurry nature of things. Let me see if I can flip things around a little bit. Let's see. Maybe that will be a little bit clearer. Hey, not too bad. Not too bad. All right, good deal. Ben is here. Hello, Ben. It says it's blurry, but it's fine. Hopefully it's all caught up now. Josh says blurry, but it's been a long day. Josh has been doing some great stuff over with the Legal Geeks and doing a lot of great stuff for San Diego Comic-Con at home, so be sure to check out all the good work he is doing. Hello, Ross. Mary says it looks fine. LJ says I look handsome as ever. LJ, thank you. Your check is in the mail, my friend. Ben says, sorry I missed last week. I was in the Smoky Mountains and had no internet connection. No apology necessary. As you know, of course, you can catch the show later on Facebook, on Instagram, or on our YouTube channel. And by the way, our good friend Corey Clubb, the co-creator of this show, Coffee with Kenobi, was in the Smoky Mountains last week too. Andrew is here. Hello, Andrew. As many of you know, had a great time on Sunday. Andrew, myself, Tom Gross, and Ross, all and my son Mason, of course, Dean and I's son. We went to see Snake Eyes. Not Star Wars related, but boy, did we have a fun time seeing that. Oh, and Jamie is here too. All right. Ross is trying to be funny, but we're going to ignore him, so let's not encourage that. Of course, Josh. Of course. Scott, scruffy looking, well, you know, of course. Ross says, hi, Mason. Look at this. This is great. So we've got a lot of our friends here. And hey, if you could do me a favor right now, go ahead and share the link. Share the Facebook Live with all of your friends and on your Facebook groups and communities that you're a part of so we can bring more people to this amazing Star Wars community and talk about the Bad Batch tonight. LJ said I heard Ross will be in Cincy tomorrow. Will there be a meetup? Stay tuned. Ooh, will there be a meetup? Well, that is up to you and Ross, but boy, that would be a good group. I'd love to hang out with you two sometime. Really looking forward to Celebration next May because that's where a lot of fun is going to be had. All right, so on tonight's show, we are certainly going to be talking about our top 5 favorite moments. Oh, it says Rescue on Ryloth. I need to update that. That's not correct. We're going to be talking about Infested. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Infested, the latest episode of Star Wars, The Bad Batch. Amber says she finally got to see Black Widow. Loved it. Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, let's take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Yeah, Celebration is 10 months from today, but who's counting 10 months? Whoa, I feel like I've got a ton to do in 10 months, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. We haven't had any announcements yet about Celebration. Hopefully that will start happening in the next coming weeks or months. I'm not sure. Haven't heard anything, and I know none of us have. There have been no official announcements, but knowing that we're so close is a great thing. Speaking of so close, would you take a look at this? So, last week we had an incredible announcement. We got an actual poster for the Halcyon. That's the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. I guess in the very most basic of terms, this is going to be the Star Wars Hotel. And we got this poster. I'm going to pull up the Disney Parks blog, and I'm going to share with you what it said on the Disney Parks blog. But again, this is going to be essentially a Star Wars hotel. It's going to be 2 nights and 3 days. It's going to be like a cruise, but no water. It's going to make you feel like you're a part of the Star Wars universe in a very unique way. I am thrilled to be able to check it out. And we got this poster, as I mentioned, that it was basically showing us some hints about some of the great things that are going to be happening on the Galactic Starcruiser. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that actually means. Can the Halcyon be your spirit animal? If so, I call dibs. A reasonable thing to say. Here we go. So on the Disney Parks blog last Wednesday, I'm just going to read this to you. Basically, here's what it says. Opening in 2022 at Walt Disney World Resort, Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser will invite you into a new kind of storytelling as you travel the galaxy in a finally appointed starship. So far, many details about this experience have been as cryptic as a Bothan spy. So it's exciting to get another peek at what we have in store. Let's take a closer look. So here are some highlights that we have. Daniel wants to know when it's going to be completed. That is the $1 million question, Daniel. No one knows. No one knows that. But this is all what we do have is I'm about to read for you right now. The Halcyon is a star cruiser, which you'll see in the upper left corner. It's your home for this 2-night adventure. The sleek ship is known for its impeccable service, fabulous entertainment, and exquisite dining, all of which you'll get to enjoy during your vacation. There are 4 people at the center of the poster, as you can see right there clearly. A youngling wearing Jedi robes and wielding a lightsaber, and an adult dressed in the uniform of a First Order officer, a Twi'lek adult, and another youngling who appears to be holding a piece of technology of some sort. These figures are meant to represent you, the travelers, because Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is about your choices and how you live your personal Star Wars stories. Do you want to support the First Order, live like a Jedi in training, or perhaps become a member of High Galactic Society? It's all waiting there for you to discover and decide. In front of those central figures is an R-Series astromech droid, but one that seems to have a few extra bells and whistles. I wonder what that's about. In the lower left, you see passengers enjoying the remarkable cuisine offered in the Crown of Corellia dining room, the Star Cruiser's enticing supper club. The food and drinks certainly seem otherworldly. The image in the lower right is the writer says it's something they're excited for. Lightsaber training. That's right. As part of your experience, you'll face off with a training remote similar to how Luke Skywalker once did and learn the lightsaber's ancient ways. I mean, are you kidding? How cool is that? Moving above all this is the intimidating visage of Kylo Ren. We all know who that is, naturally. It says couple him with those First Order stormtroopers charging into the scene on the left-hand side. The Halcyon does have a storied past and a reputation for finding itself in the middle of galactic conflicts. Luckily, Chewbacca and his trusty bowcaster are right there. And then what's happening at the very bottom of the poster, you see down there, there's something very familiar about those spires, especially to anyone who's traveled to Batuu. I've heard the Halcyon Starcruiser is adding that far-flung planet to its itinerary starting next year. So that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. But my goodness, Josh says, all for children ages 5 to 80. Look, of course it is. And the fact that there's lightsaber training, we don't know the tech behind that. It does seem that there's going to be a chance for people to go to Galaxy's Edge. My hope, and I don't know this, but just basically connecting the dots, my sincere hope is that if you stay on the Galactic Starcruiser, you're going to get Batuu to yourself for a little bit of time. I don't know how that will work, or when that will work, or if I'm even on the right track. But boy, doesn't it sound fantastic. So many amazing things, and I can promise you, as soon as we find out information about this thing, we will share it with you, certainly on Coffee with Kenobi on social media here, and naturally on the podcast. And of course, if we're going to be talking travel, I got to mention my travel partner, Becky Mankin, and her team at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. That is where I will be making a reservation to go to the Galactic Starcruiser, and hopefully you'll be able to make that happen as well. Speaking of exciting things in Star Wars, there were a lot of things that happened over the past week. A lot of collectibles were on sale, a lot of announcements. We knew about the new Star Wars Advent calendar. And for the first time ever, the entire Advent calendar is going to be themed around one particular aspect of Star Wars. This time it's going to be around The Mandalorian. You can see some of the fun things there. You can see Grogu with some sort of a holiday outfit of some kind. There's the back of the box, giving you a glimpse of some of the things that are going to be offered. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm sure Mason is too. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Mattel and Hot Wheels. I was able to snag one of these beauties, but it's a Darth Vader car. That's not new. But what is new, as you can see, the cover of the very first Star Wars Marvel comic that came out in the late 70s. And Darth Vader had sort of a green tint to him on the comic book cover, and that's what the car is. Pretty cool stuff. Then we've got some vintage collection figures. We've got Ayla Secura. We've got Luminara Unduli. And so the nice thing about these is that the cards themselves are from the 2D Tartakovsky Clone Wars micro series, which is not canonical, but is certainly a fun aspect of Star Wars. Now that it's on Disney Plus, everybody can enjoy them. So cool. I believe Andrew had pointed out in the CWK Cafe, our exclusive weekly Facebook group, that these are not new sculpts, but they might be new repaints, so that's pretty cool. Josh wants to know if Walt Simonson wrote that. I believe he did. Christina says, ooh, Lego and Star Wars. Yep, that's a great combination. Scott has a comic. Isn't it awesome? I have it as well, and it's fun to look back at it because it was actually out before the movie was seen, so they had to operate off of the script and other things, and so it's really cool to check it out. The cards are great. The cards are really nice. We've got Barasafi, and we've got an ARC Trooper. Mason is excited. Mason, I purposely didn't show you this, buddy, because I wanted to show you it on Facebook Live for the first time. I knew you'd be super excited. And if you like that ARC Trooper captain, look at this next one. The ARC Trooper himself on the left looks a lot like Rex, and then on the right, Roger, the battle droid. I knew Mason would be excited. I know a lot of you are as well. When those go on sale, I believe they already were out. I think they're Walmart exclusives. If I'm incorrect, somebody please let us know. Carter is back. Carter, what is up, man? It is so good to have you back on the show. Hope you're having a great summer, my friend, but certainly great to have you back on Coffee with Kenobi Live. And then, of course, shameless plug. Speaking of exciting things, as some of you know, I have written my second Star Wars book, the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia Updated and Expanded Edition. I was one of 5 contributors to this. And I'm very excited. It comes out November 2nd, but couldn't talk about new Star Wars things coming out without mentioning the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia. So much more to come on that. And Dave confirms what I'd said. They are Walmart exclusives, meaning those vintage collection figures. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to jump into our top 5s. Oh, gosh, I forgot to change that. I already said that. Tonight is going to be top 5 moments from Infested. Scott, thanks so much, buddy. I'm very excited. Being able to work on a Star Wars book is a magical thing. I'm very, very fortunate and blessed to be a part of that, and I can't wait to share with you. Hopefully, it'll teach you some new fun things about some of these Star Wars characters that we love so much. All right. So tonight's top 5 again. Top 5 moments from Infested. An interesting episode. I'm actually going to record an official review of it tonight, right after the show, with Tom Gross and Mary Purdue, which is super fun. So the first thing in my top 5 is in media res. This is a Latin term which means in the middle of. The reason I put this Star Wars, of course, A New Hope starts in media res with the opening scroll is sharing us that, the rebels have just won their first victory. They've got the Death Star plans, are on the run. You know that opening crawl. So it starts in the middle of the story and it takes you back. In this one, at the beginning, we get mention of being a drop zone and Gundarks. So there was an adventure that happened before this episode that we didn't see. But I love that. I love when Star Wars does that, where they keep on the tradition of letting you know, hey, this world that you're watching right now, there's a bigger part of it going on. And we're going backwards to tell you something happened that you missed. It may be told later, it may be not. But I just like that they're doing this in the Bad Batch. I don't recall it happening to this degree before, so it was a fun thing for me. All right. LJ says he's going to need 2 books signed. Well, LJ, I am happy to do that for you, my friend. Very happy. LJ says, I'm not really feeling Bad Batch. I'm excited to hang out with everyone and hear your top 5 tonight. Well, LJ, we are always welcome, my friend. Always good to have you here. Mary's number 5. Ruby being led out of the parlor by Bolo and Ketch with a Mantel mix. Yes, that was really a fun little side comedic thing that went on a little bit longer, I think, than I initially expected, but I like it. And those two characters are always very fun and welcoming to see. Jason's number 5. Movie references. Rucker dropping his light into the chasm like Pippin knocking a dwarf skeleton in the well in Lord of the Rings. Good call. And the mining car scene resembling the scenes beneath Gringotts Bank and Harry Potter. I agree, and I would add to that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as well. So good catch, Jason. Amber's number 5. Wrecker freaking out while Sid is calm. I like that too. Ross is number 5. Seeing even more details of Ord Mantell City and its seedy corridors outside of Sid's Cantina. Yeah, Ord Mantell is becoming quite a place, isn't it? Christina, Roland's horn being removed by the Pikes makes me wonder what Vizago did to lose part of his horn and if there's any connection. Oh, interesting. I hadn't thought about that. It's like a way to dishonor his people is kind of how I interpreted that. And yes, it's like the go-to way to humiliate someone like that. Interesting. Josh, number 5, the Temple of Doom callback to the carts. Definitely. Blake, this top 5 is going to be hard for old me. But 5 of the creatures of the episode as one of those things was cool to see. That was cool. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, Blake. Number 5 for Ben. Witnessing the savageness of the Pikes sounds weird, but they need to feel intimidating to make them a dangerous threat, and I felt that with them on multiple occasions. I agree. And it also made me realize re-realize just how dangerous Maul is, because in one of the last arcs of the Clone Wars, you see how the Pikes are quite scared of Maul, and you can see how scary the Pikes are, so it all goes together. Okay, let's see. Scott says, Omega stepping from the kid role to a more maternal role. Nice, good call. I like that. Certainly a lot of truth to that, to be sure. Number 5 for Mason is, he says, quite frankly, I don't like the Pikes. As soon as the Pikes say they're going to keep Omega till the Spices return, Mason was like, pause it, Dad. And he wrote down, I don't like the Pikes. So that is Mason's number 5, and I can certainly understand that. Amber, the missions we don't see leaving space for children's books. Oh, I like that. That's a good idea. Daniel, number 5, this might be silly, but all the gaffer sounds like when Sid's walking stick clanked on the ground and the sounds of the rail cars. That is not silly. That's excellent. I love the sounds and the music of this as well. I think that's a great one, Daniel. That almost made my list too. And I see we've got even more people watching, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, if you're watching the show, be sure to share out that you're watching. Tag some of your friends that you know are big Star Wars fans and have them come in and join the conversation. This great Star Wars community is so awesome to be a part of, and we need to bring more people into the fold for sure. All right, let's go into number 4. Number 4 for me is the flash bomb. When Tech drops that light at the end, and there's that massive explosion because it's been established already that the light bothers these monsters. Just a great sequence, and there's also a nice metaphor about light defeating darkness, of course, and I just love that sequence. It was great. Number 4 for Ross, the fun nods to Fellowship of the Rings, Harry Potter and Indiana Jones of the cart rail chases. All good stuff. All definitely agree. They do this even more in Bad Batch, and I think more overtly than a lot of other things in Star Wars, so it's pretty cool. Josh, number 4, the aliens vibe with the hive, definitely. Number 4 for Amber, in quotes, at least someone cares. That was a powerful little moment. Jason's number 4, Record number 1, he always seems to get the dirty jobs. Yes, he does. He was covered in green goo at the end, too. Mary, number 4, Sid on the Marauder waiting for the team. Omega saying they went to Sid for help, and now they should help her. I like that. I like the two of them and their chemistry together. Definitely very interesting. Christina's number 4, text one-liner about Sid neglecting to mention key mission details. Also at the beginning of the episode, I like that part also. Number 4 for Blake, riding the trolleys through the cave reminds me a lot of video game moments randomly. Yes, there's very video game heavy in this one. It'd be a fun one to play for sure. Dave says, fool of a toque. Number 4 for Ben, Omega sides with Sid at the beginning. She's the only one who's trusting her, even though she isn't great to the rest of the group. Yeah, still with the nicknames and the mocking, I'm not a big fan of that. But Omega and Sid's connection is pretty cool. For Mason's number 4, it's the Pikes. No, he doesn't like the Pikes. but they look cool. The design is great, and plus knowing we've seen them in Clone Wars and of course the movie Solo, a Star Wars story, it's pretty neat to see that interconnectivity for sure. Number 4 for Daniel is the Erling Bug Guts, and you put the green frowny puke face emoji. That's the official term, right? We're going to go with that. I like that too. It just adds to the texture and the sound effects that were mentioned earlier for sure. All right, time for number 3. Number 3 of top 5 moments from Infestation. Number 3 for me is Roland's voice. Like a basic thing, I guess. But Roland's voice is so cool in this episode. Oh my goodness. I don't know off the top of my head who the actor is who voiced Roland, but just a very smooth, controlled, confident, and sometimes a little scared voice when the Pikes, of course, were threatening him. But it's just really some top-notch performances here for this. I really liked it. Number 4 for Scott is Duran's guards are almost inept as stormtroopers they are, but boy, do they look cool. Don't you think so? It'd be some cool figures. Josh says, we had a long talk last night in our live stream on the lack of civic planning, building the town and the hive. We're up there with building on a graveyard. Yeah, you wonder how many people know about this hive. I'm really curious about that. Christina, the ominous presence of the Pikes. Yep, just like Mason's number 4. They have a really unique design that shouldn't work, but it does really well. Mary's number 3, Tech throwing the light / flash bomb. Definitely a cool moment. Number 3 for Amber. You tell him, Tiny. Obviously another Sid nickname, of course. Jason, Roland's animation was really lifelike too. It really was. Sometimes the animation is so lifelike that you forget you're watching animation. Number 3 for Ross, getting an even deeper understanding of how the criminal underworld is blossoming under the allowing opportunistic eye of the Empire. That's right. Good writing, Ross. Ross, of course, you can find his recaps on Fantha Tracks too for Bad Batch, so be sure to check that out. Let's see. Jason's number 3, record number 2, saying, I'm okay after retrieving the last of the spice crates. Not sure if he was reassuring everyone else or himself. It's a good question. And boy, Wrecker seems to be out of shape. He's really huffing and puffing a lot, although he is doing some pretty hard work. Daniel's number 3, the wonderful animation of the hive and especially the details of the wispy webs. Wasn't that beautiful? Or if you look down closely, you can see like little creepy crawlies going around too. Number 3 for Ben. Sid joins the Bad Batch on a mission. It's about time she joins in on the action. That was nice to see, and I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, that was her first time actively joining the team, which is great. Josh Rowland had a Blofeld vibe, but not as cool. Interesting. Oh yeah, with the cat sort of thing. That's an interesting idea. Number 3 for Blake, the big flash grenade at the end. The lighting of that shot was amazing. Lighting is a majority of making shots look good in shows, and this show prevails with it. I agree with you, dude. It was a great effect. Number 3 for Scott, love continually visiting this planet. Hand mentioned on Hoth. That's right. Again, fun seeing those little nuggets throughout Star Wars, then really getting to see more about them and how they actually work together. Great call. Great call. All right, let's move into number 2. Number 2 of your top 5 favorite moments from Infestation. Number 2 for me is Omega and Sid. At first, when Sid is apparently missing, Omega's like, well, we got to help her. And then Sid appears right away. Nice to see somebody cares. And then at the end of the episode, Sid willingly puts her life at great risk to save Omega because she got Omega into the mess. But the connection the two have is pretty great. It's a little more complicated than just, oh, I care about someone. Because Sid obviously has a very tough outward exterior. But this connection is worth a lot more exploration. We certainly will do that a lot more on the show this week. All right, number 2 for Ross. I forgot to mention number 3 for Mason. My apologies, Mace. When Sid says, very good, Goggles, that's Mason's number 3. So pretty funny. All right. So number 2 for some of you, let's see. Ross says, the presence of the Pikes and their no-nonsense ways of business between animated versions and Solo, they become incredibly interesting to me. I agree, worth more exploration. Christina Ruby following the Mantle Mix is so cute. And to be fair, that Mantle Mix is so good. They have it, of course, in Galaxy's Edge, and it's going to be opening again pretty soon, according to the Disney Parks blog. You could probably catch me in one of those cages, too, because that Mantle Mix, that popcorn is so good. All right, Jason. Number 2, Bug Guts. I love the visual effects of the blaster fire and the dark mine shaft, followed by the bright green splatter of the Erling Guts. The sound effects were great, too. It was spectacular. The music, the tone of that thing, all good stuff. Number 2 for Mary. Sid taking responsibility of Omega saving her from the Pikes. their interesting connection. Yes, similar to my number 2 as well. Very good. Number 2 for Josh, Sid negotiating for Roland's life is a bad deal and for the Pikes to walk away. That was a cool sequence. There's a lot of cool negotiational, is that even a word? Easy for me to say, aspects on this show. Number 2 for Amber, Return of the Pikes. Their presence is always sinister and scary. It definitely is. When they're there, you know the cost is going to be quite a bit higher. Let's see who else. Josh is here. Sorry I'm late. I only just finished the episode myself. No problem, buddy. Just jump on in or join the convo. A lot of great stuff, and we're certainly glad to have you naturally. Blake, the 2 patrons of Sid's Cantina stealing the pet. I love those 2, and I just realized it's a Hammerhead. It's wearing the same outfit as the original Hammerhead from the 70s that I own. That's right. It's the same one. I love that so much. The little callbacks to the original Kenner figures is great stuff. Number 2 for Daniel. Ord Mantell and that awesome flying and fly out. I'm still taken away by these sequences. I know every time they open in last couple episodes, they're flying into Ord Mantell typically, and it's always beautiful to see. It really is. Number 2 for Ben. Omega and Roland's conversation. He stops her from going after the blaster. He has a slightly softer side after he's been humbled by the experience, and Omega softens towards him too. Yeah, Omega's got a way with people, doesn't she? Very polite, charming, earnest, sincere, but also without any naivete. I think that's just a cool combination. Let's see. Christina says, so jealous I don't get to try the Manta Mix. I'm sure someday you will. It's on both coasts, and hopefully if they ever open in Galaxy's Edge overseas, there'll be opportunities too. It's really good stuff. Scott, the Pike's ability to instill true fear. It's better to be feared than loved. Fear lasts longer. That's from A Bronx Tale. There you go. A nice little callback. And the Bad Batch is making references to other movies, so we might as well too. Number 2 for Mason is when Tech throws that flash bomb. I loved it as 4. He loved it at 2. It's a great, spectacular effect, and you get that peace of mind that light again overcomes darkness, which I love. All right, time for number 1. Why don't I add a drum roll? That would be so fun. I need to remember that. Number 1 for me is Erlings and Tunnel Travels. It's basically me taking a couple segments from the middle and the end, but it's particularly the beginning when you don't see the Erlings yet, and they have to crank that minecart to not make any noise. It makes it go a little slower, but it kind of adds a little bit of emotional anticipation, and the fear that just continues to build. The suspense is great. When that record drops, it just creates this effect, and very much again like Alien or Aliens, where you just know that there's going to be trouble, but what you don't see is scarier than what you actually do. I like the way that they told the story in this aspect. All right, let's see what all of you have to come up with. Josh says there are nice connections Omega has to Ezra. We've seen the good and morally questionable people. An excellent connection, a very good point. Number 1 for Ross, Omega once again being the conscience of the Bad Batch, standing up for what's right, even when someone like Roland put her in harm's way. It's true. She is definitely the conscience of the group. Number 1 for Daniel, Force 99, all drawing their blasters out when the Pikes went in Omega. Powerful moment of protecting their own. I love that. I was going to put that in my number 5, and I forgot to write it down, but that's definitely a top one. Christina, Omega willing to see the good in people and always choosing to help and to be kind. Definitely. Very well said. Very well said. Amber, Omega showing empathy to Roland. She's really the empathy of the group, the empath of the group. Definitely. A lot of you mentioned that, and it's a great call. Number 1 for Jason, Omega's compassion. First for Sid when she's forced out by Roland Durand. And then for Roland himself, she's been learning from the Bad Batch all along, and her compassion, even for her enemies, is hopefully teaching them something too. Yeah, she's a teacher. It's a good point. I like that a lot. Josh says the flash bomb for number 1. Josh doesn't have time to do a top 5. No problem. His number 1 is Sid saying, I got the kid in this mess, now get her out. Touching and very cool to see that despite her tough personality, she's still hopefully got a soft spot inside. I think I've fully come around to Sid. I truly trust her because of this quote. I don't know if I trust her yet, but I don't not trust her, if that makes sense. She's definitely a great character, but leans more towards the light, and I know that's on purpose. Blake says it's dumb. I've used it before, but Sid's Tavern. I'm a sucker for Star Wars cantinas. I love Star Wars bars as much as the real ones. Don't judge. We won't judge you. And hopefully someday you'll be able to meet us in the cantina. Wouldn't that be a blast? That's my honorable mention. Very good. That's cool. That's cool, Jason. Number one for Scott, Omega becoming a dynamic and round character. It took a while. Interesting. I'd love to hear more of your theories on that, Scott. Number one for Mary, the Temple of Doom chase in the mining tunnels, the creepy noises from the depths of the Earlings when they come flying out of there. Awesome. So awesome. Number one for Ben, Omega sticks up for Roland. She seems to stick up for people even if they aren't the best. She does what's right and doesn't judge if the people benefiting from her choices deserve it. Lessons for us all. A lot of great lessons. A good story can tell you lessons without you feeling like you're being preached to, I think. Number one for Mason is when Sid says, "You tell him, Tiny." So Mason was really getting a kick out of the nicknames from Sid. That was number one, and number three for him. But number one for Mason is "You tell him, Tiny." Love it. All right, of course, next week we're again getting closer and closer to the end of this thing. But next week's top five is from the episode 14 of the Bad Batch, coming out this Friday. Just 3 left, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm guessing we're getting to some pretty intense stuff. We still don't know if we're going to have a season 2, so that adds even a little bit more mystery to what's going on. Pretty wild, pretty exciting, and maybe even a little bit scary, but in the best way possible. Love it. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. This is where you can ask me any Star Wars or podcast related questions, and I'll be happy to answer as best I can. Let's go. All right, so again, this is Ask Dan Z. Let me know your questions about Star Wars, pop culture, whatever you have, and I will certainly be happy to answer them. If you are a member of the CWK Alliance, which is the way you can support me and Coffee with Kenobi, it's also a way I can give back to you with bonus content like CWK Prover. This week on CWK Prover, which is our exclusive weekly podcast, I, myself, Corey Clubb, and Tom Gross talked all about season 1 of Loki. That was a hot conversation for sure. And interesting. That is certainly an interesting episode, season, only 6 of them, but give you a lot to talk about. So if you're interested in that, be sure to go to our Patreon page and find out all about that. You can go over there at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Let's see. Is that the only one I have for that? I thought I had some more. There you go. Join the CWK Alliance. Boom. Got the link there for you for sure. Let's see. Who else do we have? We got some great questions over here. Is there an official trailer for the Kenobi series yet? There is certainly not. And I don't even know if they're done filming the first season or the series. So, gosh. I can't wait till there is one, though. Jason we'll probably do a top 5 of moments from the Kenobi trailer when and if we ever get to see one. Amber wants to know if we know the price of the Galactic Starcruiser. I heard $1,000 per night, but that's just a rumor. You still think it's worth it? Either way I'm going. I definitely think it's worth it. I have no idea what the price is. Nobody really does. And Amber, I would encourage you to just ignore those rumors and exercise Jedi patience, which is exactly what I'm doing. As soon as we find out, we will let you know. Still very much debating how we want to celebrate it, but we're very excited. I think it's going to be worth it because it's Star Wars and it's Disney World, and they've never let me down yet. Let's see. Josh says, not that I know of, sadly. Josh, I'll have to refresh my memory what that's about. But certainly let me know so I can comment on it. Why does Andrew like carrots so much? When we, before we went and saw Snake Eyes, Ross, myself, Andrew, Tom, and Mason went to Galaxy's Edge, I wish. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings and ate. And Andrew kept asking the waiter or the waitress for carrots. And he finally brought them out. And he claims he got like 80 carrots. And he ate 40 of them. So that's just something to give him a hard time about because it's just funny. Blake says you could only listen to one Star Wars soundtrack. Which film show would it be? When's a CWK show devoted to top music tracks? Ooh, what else? See, we did do one top soundtrack songs or things like that, but it would do a top music tracks. Maybe, I don't know if we did or not. I'll have to look back through the archives, but that's a great topic, Blake. And as far as just one to listen to, it'll probably be The Empire Strikes Back. Perhaps even The Last Jedi is pretty outstanding. And even though The Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite Star Wars movie, I think that's a great soundtrack too. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be The Empire Strikes Back. Good question. Ben says, I know you like to speculate, but what are you hoping to see tied up for the end of the season of The Bad Batch? That's a great question. Honestly, I just want to see a good story well told. If there is a season 2, and I certainly hope that there is, I hope that they wrap up whatever they're trying to tell with season 1. It would be nice to see some sort of resolution of the Crosshair situation. But as long as I feel like season 1 is complete in and of itself, then I'll be at peace. Scott, I saw Star Wars in 77 on opening night with my dad when I was 9. When did you first see it, Dan? Scott, that is quite a coup, my friend. I first saw it when I was, I was 5 years old. And I saw it at a drive-in New Orleans, Louisiana in the summer of 1978. We tried to see it many, many times before, but it was always sold out because there was no way to get advance tickets back then. So I first saw it at a drive-in movie theater in New Orleans, Louisiana in the summer of 1978. And obviously, it definitely changed my life for sure. That's a great story, Scott. I love that. Josh, did anyone else think Roland was a Zaga when they first saw the thumbnail? I didn't. Because they just look different, their skin or something like that. But and I didn't even think about the fact that they're the same species. But yeah, Christina brought that up, and that was a good catch. Amber says, thank you so much. My pleasure, anytime. Trying away from speculation, we think it's interesting that Loki ended the way it did, and Doctor Strange is called Multiverse of Madness. I do think it's interesting, for sure. I definitely think it's interesting, and I don't know, I guess we will see. Dave says 3 seasons. 3 seasons for Bad Batch. Is that your prediction, my friend? Because that would be cool. Mason can confirm the Andrew Carrot situation as well. Oh, 3 seasons in a movie. Oh, well, there you go. Well, wouldn't that be great? I'm all for that, my friend. Josh says, Rise of Skywalker is a fantastic track. One of the best, definitely. Despite everything else being great, score-only version would be nice. Yeah, and I would like that too. I think that would be so cool. Speaking of cool, boy, is it cool to chat with each and every one of you every Monday night. Still planning very much on modifying the time of Facebook Live once we get into late summer, early fall to give everybody a little more extra time to start their evenings after the show. But boy, this is one of the best turnouts we've had in a long time, and I'm pretty sure it's because of all of you and sharing and tagging your friends. Be sure to let them know that every Monday night we have a Star Wars conversation you're not going to want to miss. We've got an amazing community where you've got a chance to share your thoughts live on the show, interact with your friends with this great community that we have that I'm so thankful to be a part of. Scott, thank you. God bless to you too, my friends. Please be sure to join us every Monday night. Love having you on the show, buddy. Have I been keeping up with the Olympics? We have. We've kept it on pretty much 24/7 as much as we can. It's great. It's great fun to watch. Jason, thanks so much. Good to see you. Hey, man, love you too, Blake. Good to have you. Best Star Wars community in the world because you all are awesome. Yes, this is a great community. You are a big reason for that, Blake. All of you are a big reason for that. It's so fun. Christina, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us every Monday night or check out the show later. We'd definitely love to have you. It's a great community. We're just having so much fun talking Star Wars, and that's great. Star Wars is a great escape. It's great fun. There's a lot of healthy stuff in the world of Star Wars, and we're going to embrace that. Ross, thank you, buddy. Good to see you yesterday. Mary, have a great week. We'll chat with you very soon. We can talk about the new episode of The Bad Batch. Josh, thank you. Daniel, nice chatting with you as well. Have a great one, everybody. See you next time. And remember, this is a podcast you're looking for.